Hi Metal Peeps, this is Kieran Wallace, drummer, graphic designer and lyricist of Dream State Illusion. I thought I'd make this video today to share something personal with you guys, which is the fact that I'm a disabled drummer. I wouldn't go as far as to say that I am Rick Allen from Def Leppard. I still have both my limbs, but I had meningitis when I was 15 months old, which has resulted in a condition called hemiplegia, which basically means that the motor skills in my right arm and leg are not as functional as my left. I don't have the same flexibility in specifically my right arm as I do in my left. So with regards to my drumming, it's been something of a challenge for me to develop the skill that I actually have now. I've been playing for about 23 years, so I was around about 8 years old when I first started. But I'd like to think that my drumming has actually come on sort of leaps and bounds since I actually started when I was 8 years old. With regards to my playing, I've had to customize my setup so it's more compatible for me. Incidentally, I am actually left-handed, but I can't actually play a left-handed setup. I have to have it in a right-handed sort of configuration to make it actually work for me, which I'll explain to you in more depth a bit later on. But yeah, with regards to learning how to play, basically it's just been a case of compromise, and I've learned predominantly by just playing along to my most sort of influential bands. I mean, I obviously can't play exactly the way the drummers of those bands play their songs. I have to compromise and do the best I can, which is what I've always done. And like I said, compromise is the predominant factor to my way of playing. And yeah, I'd just like to share a little more of that with you, so stay tuned. I began playing drums on your standard 5-piece beginner's kit. I believe it was a custom percussion along the lines of what you see here. And then when I was about 13, my folks bought me a Tama Swingstar 5-piece kit, which most definitely was an upgrade to what I had before. And then shortly after that, I developed it further with the acquisition of a Gibraltar rack system, which was great because this meant I could reconfigure my setup to make it more compatible for me to play. I also bought a DW4000 double bass pedal and many more cymbals, as you can see here. These ranged from Crash's, China's, had a Crash Ride Trashformer, a few different sizes of splash cymbals and an auxiliary hi-hat. So overall this was a rather extensive setup, but it was brilliant for the sort of music I like to play along to. With regards to my playing, I had to come up with some form of idea to actually make it work for me. Like I said at the beginning, I'm left-handed, but I couldn't play a left-handed setup, so I had to develop a technique which would allow me to play properly. As you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm holding my right arm with my left, predominantly just to keep it controlled, because like I said before, I have lack of flexibility in my right arm and it can become quite tense. So in terms of playing the drums, I have to keep it controlled throughout any song I'm actually playing. This has taken quite some time to actually develop and solidify, but I've made it work for me, and this is predominantly just the way I play now, and it works fine. I unfortunately had to sell my Tama Swingstar eventually when I moved out of my parents' house and had to buy a beginner's electronic kit, which was like going back to square one. But my partner Lizzie, she bought me a Roland TD25 KV electronic drum kit, which is far more advanced and versatile and suits me down to the ground. And what I ended up doing was combining the Session Pro with the Roland kit, simply just to make it a bit bigger, which is what I was used to. And I managed to hang on to my DW4000 double bass pedal, which is brilliant. Since having this kit for a few years now, my drumming has developed quite a lot, and specifically my double bass drum techniques has really come a long way since then. This is the kit that I do all Dream State Illusions recording on, and I've got to say that the sounds from this particular electronic kit are fantastic and are just about the same level as an acoustic kit, I would say. So this kit has been brilliant and has been very good for me, and the compatibility of it is great as well, to be honest, because it's just so compact and everything's so very close together. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it somewhat informative and interesting on some level. It means a lot to me to be able to share this with you. My disability really I don't let it affect me anymore, you know. I've learned to live with it, I've had it for the majority of my life, and it's no longer, an issue for me anymore. I get through every day and just do the best I can with whatever life throws at me. And on a personal level, to anyone on the off chance, out there who's, struggling with any form of disability or lack of confidence in themselves, I'd just like to say that, the predominant factor of actually getting through any issues you have in life is just belief in yourself, and as I've said before, compromise and persistence is a way of actually moving forward and getting through life. And if you develop that skill and accept you are who you are, and learn to love yourself for who you are, then you don't actually let anything get in your way at all, to be honest. And that's the most important thing. So like I said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.